as Alex said, at least we're one day closer to fall. We're also one day closer to back to school. Yeah, Dr. Carrie Brown with Banner Solutions is here to talk about how to get kids mentally prepared. Dr. Brown, thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, thanks for having me.
I know when I was a child, back to school, to make that transition was kind of tough on us. One, we didn't want to go back to school. We were those kids. And then also sleeping and getting back into a routine. What can parents do to help children mentally make that transition to back to school?
Yeah, I don't know many kids that are super excited about going back to school, but you kind of hit the nail on the head. Is you get into school and you get a routine, and to put them straight into school can really be a jolt to the whole family system. And so things like establishing a good bedtime, kids, especially the younger they are, the more sleep they need. But even teenagers need 8 or 9 hours of sleep every night. So you got a couple weeks till school. Now's the time to say, okay, we're going to start dialing back that bedtime, getting them back into some semblance of order is what we're trying to do at my house as well. And I think the other thing that you can do with your kids is really talk about kind of what your expectations are for the year. For some kids, if you finish great the last year, you want to talk about, hey, what are you looking forward to? What can we do to carry that success on into the next year? And then for some kids, you may not have ended the year the way that you wanted it to be, and maybe the grades weren't quite what you wanted, but now is a great time to reset and restart and I just encourage people to be really open with their kids about what does school look like, what are they worried about, and what are things they can do to sort of help support them as they go back to school.
Yeah, I say that as a parent, that next year will be better, or this school year, we're going to make some changes. We're going to do something differently. Can biofeedback help?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the things that a lot of kids will struggle with behavior is things like ADHD, trouble paying attention, focusing, but that also can look like trouble focusing when the workload gets hard, or being under stress. They may start to check out. There's some other things that biofeedback can help with to help alleviate some of those symptoms. But what we do is we can do a brain scan, essentially, where we look at the activity levels in their brain, and we can actually establish a training protocol for them to help train out the behaviors that we don't want to see, to give them new ways to cope with some of the stresses of school.
What ages will the biofeedback help? All ages?
So our youngest client we've had in the past is about 6, and that's a little young, but it still can be helpful. And then all the way up, even we have a lot of adults who want to come in and work on attention and focus and those kind of things. And
could this be an alternative to medication?
Absolutely. That was one of the reasons we started, was to give parents another option besides just medication. Medication's hard to get right now, and it wears off pretty quick. And so this is a thing that when you do it over time, you don't need the medication anymore, or you need less of a dose than you used to.
That's great.
Yeah.
Dr. Brown, thank you so much for coming on the show. Look forward to having you again.
Thank you.
And up next on Louisiana Living, Caroline Cassio and Maddie Ware are here with all the details about this year's Bowl and Bling. That's after the break here on Louisiana Living.